What's up, guys? This is Derek from Team Evolution coming to you with a first place mutant deck profile. This is a very fun rogue deck that I've been working on for a few months now and have cemented on the build that I currently have. And this past week, my locals did a tournament where first place won the Dawn of Majesty pre-release mat. We didn't really get to have a pre-release because we got the product late, and so instead of doing like a normal pre-release tournament, they gave out the mat to first place, which you can't really see it too great, but it is the one that's underneath here. And I did win with this deck and won the mat. My rounds, round one I played Sky Striker, which actually was my only loss. We went to game 3 and we both bricked, but I bricked worse. Round 2, I played BA Phantom Knights, I 2-0'd him. Round 3, I played Drytron, I 2-0'd him. Round 4, I played Alrrergeist, I 2-0'd him. And round 5, I played Prank Kids, and I beat him, and that was the top 4 match. And then it was just the standings after that were the standings. So I went 4-1, played some pretty good decks in my opinion, and all the games actually were like real challenging, to be honest. But I feel like I've really worked out some good kinks with this deck. I was very happy with how it ran, how it felt. It felt consistent most of the night, other than like a couple times. But it's a very fun deck, and it's a deck that no one really plays because it's just not, people don't really know the potential that it has. And I will say it is missing, 1 or 2 cards to really help make it a little more consistent, a little better. So if you know the deck, fantastic. If you don't, check it out. But I'm going to show you the build that I played and got first place with, okay? So to start things off, we played 3 M's and 3 STs. So the eggs are the most important part of the deck. These are the cards that you want to see all the time. And when M is normal or special, you get to search a mutant monster other than itself. And when the ST is normal or special, you get to search any mutant spell or trap. Then they both have the effect where you tribute it and then banish either a monster, spell, or trap from your hand or field. And then you special summon one of the big mutants from the deck based off of the one or the card type that you summoned. So these are super important. The deck definitely needs a way to get to these a little faster, but you want to play these. And I love these cards. Well, I think one of the reasons why I did so well is that because everybody that I played against didn't really know the archetype, and so they were reading all the cards constantly. And so even if you ash this, it's nice because you still get the second effect as well to just go into one of the big ones. So yeah, the only thing I'd say about the deck is that we need a way to get to this faster. That's like a turn 1 thing, which I'll talk about more as I get through the deck. On top of the eggs, we're playing 1 Beast, 1 Mist, and 1 Arsenal. So I play 1 of each of the big ones. And if you're not familiar with them, the way they work is that with the eggs, if you banish a monster, you get Beast. If you banish a spell, you get Mist. And if you banish a trap, you get Arsenal. They're all level 8s. They're all different types. Beast cannot be targeted by monster effects. Mist cannot be targeted by spell effects. And Arsenal cannot be targeted by trap effects. They all have a quick effect where this is a spell negate by banishing a card from your hand or field. Just any card. This is if your opponent activates a trap card or effect, you banish a card from your hand or field to not negate that effect but draw 2 cards. So in some cases against trap decks, being able to draw more cards is really helpful. And the Arsenal, when your opponent activates a monster effect, it doesn't negate the effect, but you banish a card from your field or hand to just banish a monster on the field. Extremely good. You utilize these the best way you can. They are kind of sort of bricks, but at the same time, like you can special summon them out of the hand with the eggs if you have to. But a lot of times you want to pull these out of the deck. But these are like your big powerhouse cards. These can cause a lot of problems for the opponent if they don't know what they do. And I can tell you, like, again, people were reading these all night. Just, what does this do? What does this do? What does it do? Like, not understanding the mechanics of how they work and how they function. And it really makes the game challenging when they don't know what they do. So, and I play Arsenal, like, okay, so the other thing too is that most people play 2 Beasts and 1 Arsenal, but I don't like that because I play a lot of traps in the deck, and so Arsenal is, in my eyes, way more useful than having 2 copies of Beast in the deck. So that's it, just 9 mutant monsters, pretty point blank. I don't play the GB88, there's a level 4 mutant that I don't play because I just don't think it's really good. Okay, then we're playing 3D Shifter. This deck basically thrives off of the Banish Zone, and this card is just one of the best. Like, any deck that can play this and function is... It really helps any rogue deck that can utilize the Banish Zone that's not affected by this challenge the meta. This card single-handedly. It's probably one of the best hand traps out there, but the thing is only specific decks can utilize the card. But going second, if you activate this, even sometimes going first, like I'll just shotgun the card and then do my plays, and then my opponent just can't do anything on their next turn usually. But if I'm going second, this is one of the best cards that will make your opponent just skip their turn. So you definitely should play this. Then for the other hand traps, I just played 3 Ash. I was going to play Ghost Ogres. I was going to play 2 Ash, 2 Ogre. But I don't know. I kind of liked Ash a little bit more because it's just a little bit more universal. I know Ogre does have a great utility in some cases, but I do play other cards in the deck that I feel like help anyways. So I just ultimately went with 3 Ash, and it was fine. So 3 Ash, 3 Shifter. I do play Imperm, but we'll get to that with the traps. And that's it for the hand traps. And that's it for the monsters in total. Now for the spells. I played 2 Evolution Labs and 1 copy of Mutant Fusion. So Lab is very important. I think that 2 is the right number. I think 1's too little and 3's too much because you do want to see the card. And what it does is when you activate it, you can summon one of the eggs from your hand or Banish Zone, which is really great. Trigger their effect to search. Also helps with your rank 8 combo, which I'll talk about when I get to the extra deck. And then it also has an effect where you can put a mutant monster in your hand to the bottom of the deck to draw a card. So it helps get dead cards out of your hand to just kind of keep the deck moving a little bit, which is extremely nice. So this is a must-have card. Mutant Fusion, this card is crazy. When I was first working on this deck, I wasn't playing Mutant Fusion at all because I thought it was actually really bad, because in my eyes, I was like, well, why would I want to fusion someone on my turn? I want to fusion someone on my opponent's turn with Mutant Cry. But Mutant Fusion says that if your opponent activated any card or effect during the turn that you activate this, you can use a monster from your graveyard and 1 from your deck for the fusion summon. So it's really nice because if you have a dead egg in the graveyard from using its effect, you can just banish that and then one of the big ones from the deck to summon Synthesis on your turn, which gives you more push that turn, as well as popping a card off of Synthesis that turn. And it's searchable. So I realized that this card's very important and it's very strong and very good, but you only need it at 1. I would not recommend playing it at any more than just 1. But actually, so really fun instance on the Mutant Fusion. So I actually had top decked the Mutant Fusion against the Alrergeist player, and I had 2 Synthesis and Mist on the board already. And I activated Mutant Fusion, and I got rid of, he played a card. I think he activated either Spoofing or Protocol, and he searched for the one that blocks attacks, and I activated Mutant Fusion, and I just banished 1 from my grave in my deck, from my deck, and the 2 Synthesis on my field, and I summoned Ultimus, which again I'll get to. It's the big one that I hardly ever go into, but it was the one time that I played the card and I was able to attack and negate the one from stopping the attack. Very good. So if I wouldn't have had this card, I wouldn't have been able to make that play, and it just goes to show that like this card is a very like situational card, but it's very good, and I would not play more than 1, but I would definitely play at least the 1. Then for the basics, we have 3 Prosperity. Okay, so I'm going to discuss this a little bit, because if you go and look at any mutant deck profile, most, if not all, are going to be playing Pot of Extravagance. And the argument is that you don't need to use your extra deck, and that because you're banishing cards from your hand in your field, the extra card that you get from Extravagance is better. But I'm going to tell you why that's wrong, especially in the sense of why I was playing this deck. So I use a rank 8 engine in my extra deck occasionally, which again I'll talk about when I get there. And so this automatically just felt better because I get to pick the cards I banish for 1, so I can avoid having to banish my rank 8s as well as the Synthesises. I don't want to accidentally banish like all the Synthesis, or even 2 of them for that matter, if I don't have to. The other nice thing about this card is that you can dig 3 to 6 cards, obviously. Sometimes the 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th card is more necessary than the 2 cards you pick up off the top of your deck, irregardless of the +1. And that is always true with this, because this deck you want to just dig for the eggs, you want to dig for the cards you need, and sometimes those 2 cards just aren't enough, or the top 2. And then the other great thing is you can obviously activate it whenever you want. You don't have to do it immediately, which is nice. So And the way I built this deck, Prosperity was just infinitely better than Extravagance. And so if you're playing this deck, I would look into playing this card with this build because it helps with the consistency side, not so much just getting that extra card. So I loved Prosperity way better. And then we have 2 Triple Tactics. Great card. I mean, you're playing a rogue deck that revolves around a lot of searching, so this card is just kind of like a given. Being able to draw cards, rip cards out of your opponent's hand, there's just so much this card enables you to do. I don't think I would play 3 in this deck. Like, I thought about it, but I was like, you know, I think it's completely fine at 2 because you don't want to brick the card, even though your opponent will probably activate hand traps anyways. But I don't know. I'm still up in the air, but the 2 were great. So if you can play it, play it. If you don't have them or you can't get them, there's other cards that you can play instead. But I would recommend playing it if you have it. Then 1 E-Telly. The eggs are psychic, so this makes sense. I really wish that this card was at 2 or 3. Like, it would not make the deck any more broken, but it would definitely help the consistency. Like, if this card came back to 2 or 3, which I think it can, God, it would just help the deck so much. And then the last card's just the Gold Sark. The whole idea behind the Gold Sark was to combo off with either the ST or mostly the Evolution Lab. If I open Evolution Lab, I can activate this to banish like the M or something and activate Lab to just special summon it. That was the thought process behind this. It worked a couple times. Sometimes I cited it out, but it was kind of the idea was like a 2-card play if I had the Lab. Obviously, if you don't have the Lab, it's not that good. Or if you don't have the ST to normal summon to get the Lab, it's not that good. But usually it works out fine. So I don't know. I might either take this out for another Tactics, or maybe if this goes to 2, this would be another E-Telly. But for now, it's not bad. Okay, then we play 3 Mutant Cries. This is the best card in the deck. Allows you to fusion summon on your opponent's turn by shuffling the appropriate targets from your hand, from your field, grave, or banished zone back into the deck, and is searchable. Have to play it. Don't really need to explain the card. It's such a broken card. 3 Mutant Expansions. This is such a good card. Again, this was one of those cards where when I was first building the deck, I was like, do I really want to play this card? Then I realized it's so good. Like, being able to just summon M out of the deck on your turn and search for ST, and then start your turn and normal summon ST, search for Lab, use M's effect, use the ST's effect to banish itself and the M to summon Beast, and then play the Lab to special the M back, get another search because now it's your turn, and then you can use that M and the Lab to special summon Mist out of the deck. So it's just very phenomenal. And it has another effect where if one of your level 8 or higher mutants would be destroyed by a card effect specifically, you can banish it instead. So this is just a must-have card. And again, it's searchable, which is amazing off of ST. So have to play 3 copies of it. Then there's the Imperm for the hand traps. Can't play... I chose Imperm, by the way, over Valor because it's just better going second. Being able to shut down like a Winda or anything like that. Super important. 3 strikes. I think Strike is one of the best traps right now, so I don't see any reason why you shouldn't play it. Yeah. And then last but not least, I main decked 2 summon limits, a Macrocosmos, and a Imperial Order. So again, just a massive amount of control. I actually kind of wish I had 3 summon limit because I didn't see it that often, but when I did, it was really strong. I saw Macro a couple times. Card's insane if you get that card off. And against most meta decks right now, the card is just an instant win button. And Imperial Order is the same situation against spell decks. And what's really great, and this is why Arsenal is really good in the deck, is if you ever like need to turn one of these off, well, not so much the Macro, but the Imperial Order and the Summon Limit, you can just banish the Summon Limit or the Order with one of the eggs to summon Arsenal out of the deck if you have to. That never came up, but it can happen. But yeah, these cards are all just really good. The main deck's 41 because you do kind of play, you know, like the big ones are kind of bricks, and the deck actually does search quite a bit, and 41 just felt like the right number. For the extra deck, I played 3 Synthesis. A must-have, it's like the most common card you have to play in the extra deck. What it does is on Fusion Summon, it pops a card. Then when your opponent activates a card or effect, a monster, spell, or trap, you can make it unaffected by monster, spells, or traps. Whatever that card type is, they activate it until the end of the turn. So that can cause a lot of problems depending on the deck you're playing against. And then if they get rid of it, you get one of your banished mutant cards back to your hand. Then I play just 1 Ultimus because it's very uncommon that you actually go into this. It's a 35 beater, and it's an Omni negate by banishing a mutant monster you control, which is great. And then if it gets removed, you get 3 banished mutant cards. So it is very strong, but again, it's just a very situational card. I used it once, and the one time I used it, I did win, but more commonly, you're going into these than anything. Then I played the rank 8 package with 2 Dryglubions, 2 Hope Harbinger, a Numeron Dragon, and a Prime Dragon. If you're familiar with the Dryglubion and the Numeron OTK, the fact that you have 2 level 8s that you can use to go into this, it's why I do that. Sometimes if I'm going first, I like to open up with Dryglubion and Hope Harbinger. That way I can actually have like a negate, a spell negate, and then if I have like a Mutant Cry set, I have a disruption plus a negate. It doesn't seem that threatening, but it's actually really good. And then if I have anything else to back it up, like an Ash or a summon limit or something, or even macro, like I'm good all day, especially against the meta. And I play 2 and 2 just because of prosperity if I need to get rid of one. So very great engine. Then just random, I played a random 8 Exo Blower. I was just trying to find space because you have a little bit of space with the prosperity. This is just a rank 8 that can pop cards. I never went into it. Zeus, in case I attack with one of the Xyz, I could go into it. Never went into it. And then the last 3 cards is a Cross Sheep, a Phoenix, and a Unicorn. You don't ever really go into these cards, but they are there in case you need to. The Cross Sheep is cool because if you fusion summon an Ultimus, any of the fusions into this, then you can bring back an egg, search, just random things that are just kind of good. So yeah, that's the extra deck that I used. Very good. And then the side deck I played for this particular tournament, it's not really that big of a deal, but it's 3 Drolls because I think it's the best hand trap still right now. 3 Nibiru. I mean, you're playing a rogue deck, so you need to have all the answers possible for going second, especially against all of the meta decks right now. 3 Cosmic and Harpies. You can't really play Twin Twister because you have to pitch a card out of your hand, and your hand is very important in this deck. So Cosmic is just, in my eyes, better, and Harpies is Harpies. 3 Evenly Matched for just, again, more removal for going second. And then 2 Solemn Judgments for just a going first aspect. So that was the side. I was very happy with the side. So that's pretty much the deck. If you don't really know any of the combos, like your main combos of what I wanted to try and do more or less is you want to try and get the babies in order to make like your rank 8 play going first, right? So like, let's just say you open like Lab and M, right? Like you activate Lab, you special M, you search ST, you normal ST, you want to search for the Mutant Cry, and then you banish one of these and this to summon Mist, which is the one from the spell. And then you just banish this and any other trap or monster in your hand to summon Beast. Let's just say you banish a monster and you summon Beast. And you overlay this into the Dryglubion. Some people would just leave it there and just leave these out on the board, which that just depends on the matchup and what you're doing. But this is like the combo I would go into occasionally. You know, then you discard that. You go into your Hope Harbinger here. And you have a spell negate with a follow-up off Dryglubion, 1 other card in your hand, and a set Mutant Cry. And so basically like the beast that's in your graveyard from detaching and whatever other monster you banished off of this are going to be your targets. Or you could even just do the ones in your grave plus that to get the synthesis out on your opponent's turn. So I'm sorry, the camera angle is terrible here, but that's ideally like what you want to set up with. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck, guys. It was a really fun deck. I'm glad I had the opportunity to finally play it because I've been really nervous to play it for a while. And I just thought, you know what, screw it. Like, I'm pretty confident in the deck because I was doing really well with it online. And this is what it turned into. So I really love the deck. I suggest to give it a try if you're somebody who wants a very inexpensive rogue deck. I know I play Prosperity and Tactics, but you can find other cards to play outside of those. But if you have them, I do suggest using them because they help with the deck's consistency aspect. Very, very good. They're very well. So, but yeah, that's it, guys. That was my Mutant deck. Subscribe if you liked it. I'm going to try and get some more videos up. I do have some other deck profiles I want to put up here soon. Other than that, Team Evolution out.